You ever have that one person, right, that you might bond with, like you just meet them, like, and y'all bond is just is a certain connection that's there, right? But all of a sudden something happens, whether it's at a job, maybe the person quits, maybe a person dies, maybe the person, just moves away, whatever, right? There's people that are sent into your life for a certain amount of time, a small amount of time, and it's meant for you to learn something from that person. It's like, look at it like this, right? Imagine before you come to earth, you make your spiritual contract. You're like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get through this. All right, I'm gonna have a karmic debt here. I'm gonna go through this. I'm gonna go through this traumatic experience. You may have people from your spiritual team or your soul group that's like, all right, well, I'm gonna come down at this specific time, right? For a small amount of time. And and there's something, it's basically like a checkpoint. You get what I'm saying when you meet these people. And there's something, like I said, there's something you're supposed to learn from these individuals. That's why I connect like that so strongly in that small amount of time. But they're not meant to last long. They're not meant to be around long, right? They're just meant to be there to help you with something. But it's on you to figure what that is. Something you're supposed to learn, right? My whole phone the wind just blew my phone down. Strong winds today. But perfect example. When I was about 16 and I was in the Bronx, there was this guy, and I was hanging on this block called Grand Ave, which, if you familiar with the Bronx, it's on the west side of the Bronx, right next to Davidson. And this guy moved to the block, right? He was only 21 years old, but he carried himself like he was way older, right? Carried himself like he was way older. Long story short, we connected. Like, this dude was official. You get what I'm saying? You would think everybody thought he was like so-called African American, but he was actually like Dominican, right? He was actually Dominican, but you would not be able to tell. Like, dark skinned and all that. Like, you just wouldn't be able to tell. And he carried himself like a boss, like, I remember one time a situation that occurred, and he came out, he was in all black down to the Prada shoes. You get what I'm saying? All black. And he was like I say, he was a real general. He was just always prepared for the worst with a smile on his face. Not somebody who do too much talking, too much chatting, none of that. He was real disciplined and real alert, and he had a lot of wisdom for his age. He seen that I was very similar to him as far as the way I think, and how I carried myself. And me and him connected, right? We connected. And I remember one time, because I was actually the spot I was staying in was in Westchester. So I would take the Metro North all the way from White Plains to hang out on Grand Ave. And one night he was like, dang, like, it's mad late, bro. Like, you gotta go deep. Like, you gotta go a far ride to get to where you're going. He's like, you know what, just stay over here with me and my baby mother. Like, you good. I'm like, yo, you sure? Like, and me, I read characters like crazy. Like, that's one thing about me. Everybody know about me is I study characters. He was different, So I stayed over there. He was just one of the people that's like, yo, you hungry? You need something to eat? You need da. Like, he was no BS type of person. And so long story short, I remember I went upstate, right? I went upstate, and my homies in the Bronx had told me, listen, he got locked up, due to gang activity. And but he wasn't like no regular just gang banging. Nah, he was, like I said, he was a general. His was like, he was in everything for the revolutionary aspect. He just wanted to see the people basically overcome oppression. He was real smart. So when I got the call, when I heard about that, and I never seen him again. He was gone. I don't even remember his name, to be honest with you, like his government name, anything like that. But he was gone. It was over. That was the last time I seen him. And I heard he got like a lot of time, right? And what I learned from him was just like he used to tell me all the time, you know, you're gonna be a beast when you get older, you know. You sober, you stay, don't let nobody knock you off your path. Don't be like these people, you know. Don't be like the average, you know. Utilize that wisdom, and you're gonna attract many great things in your life. It's like when we meet these certain people, it's like checkpoints in our life. You get what I'm saying? Like, think of it like a video game. Like, you get to a certain level and there's that checkpoint. You gotta hit checkpoints. These people come into our lives, or you may be that person that comes into someone's life for a short amount of time, and that's that checkpoint for them. There's something that they're supposed to, or you're supposed to learn from that individual at that specific time. They're not supposed to be there long. And it also teaches you about attachment, you know, and how to let go, right? So there's another kid when I was in alternative school in 7th grade. And this kid was from St. Louis, right? And me and him connected off the rip. We just connected, like, once again, another general. Didn't do too much of this, but could back it up all the way. Not the type of people you wanted to play with, you know? They back it up. So I had gotten to a situation where I was in a bathroom, and me and some kid had a fight in the bathroom, some older kid, and I was winning the fight, so his peoples jumped in. Somebody I didn't even know jumped in for me, right? He jumped in for me, and I respected it after that. I'm like, okay, that's what's up. Like, loyalty, let's go. Because he seen I was outnumbered. And me and that kid started being real cool. So the kid from St. Louis, he wasn't a judgmental person, but he was like, man, there's something about that kid. I'm like, what you mean? He like, you'll see. There's something about him. I'm like, all right, you know, whatever. So as time went on, I started to notice more and more funny things about the kid that jumped in for me in that fight. And long story short, as we got older, this kid ended up becoming like a really big, well-known snitch, you know, like a real big snitch, and just not a good person at all. I've never seen a kid from St. Louis again. You know, he was actually in a juvenile facility, because kids from juvenile hall will go to that alternative school. So he was locked up pretty much the whole time. You know, jail school, right? So I never seen him again, right? But what I learned from him was intuition and being aware. Like, there's a lot of elders, a lot of older people that actually have came into my life, like, all the time, and I've learned the most from them. I mean, I've learned from so many people, but elders, and it's like they'll always have like this spark in their eye too, like it's like, you know, it's deeper than the flesh. Like, it's just a certain connection there. Like, they looking at you a certain way. And I seen a movie where the gods, right? It was these different gods, like Santa La Muerte, you know, I forgot who the other god was, but they actually would descend down onto earth in the physical flesh to test people. So listen to what I said, a lot of these be tests too, or they'll come to teach us things when we really need help. Okay, strong winds, but make sure this don't fall again. So they'll come to teach us things at certain times in our lives. Just know when things like this happen, it means you leveling up. You leveling up. If you meet somebody, y'all connect, and then all of a sudden they disappear, it was meant to be like that. It might be somebody from your past life, somebody just from your soul group, who they decided to come down to say what's up, basically, like, what up? You know what I'm saying? They came to say what up. So don't take it like, oh, why do people always, you know, come into my life and leave and da-da-da-da-da-da. No, you know, learn from that and learn about attachment. You know, stop attaching so hard to things. Learn from things. Like, get the lessons you need to learn, to get the lessons you need in order to grow and to evolve and move forward. You know, that heart chakra, you see these people I remember that I'm talking about is because they came at me with their heart chakra. They didn't come at me trying to be extra tough. They didn't come at me trying to prove a point. They showed loyalty, real, genuine friendship. And that's that heart chakra. That's why I remember that so much. Even though I haven't seen these guys in years, right? I'm talking like 15. I mean, it's been a while since the one in St. Louis. Like, it's been a while period for any of them. I haven't seen them in a while. Like, I've met people who, there was this guy actually who commented on my YouTube not so long ago, and he was like, he said he was about to die. But he was like, he was an older guy, but he liked something I had said. This was like maybe 2 years ago. And he's like, you know, he said, I'm happy with the life I live. Like he said, he basically was like he had a podcast that was against racism. I guess it was anti-KKK, fought them for like 20 years, right? It was really for the people. And I was like, damn, and you commented on my YouTube showing me love, before knowing you about to die in a matter of like 2 weeks. And his YouTube name was Latherland. And I won't forget it, right? And it was almost like him saying, I'm gonna see you again, you know? I'm gonna hold you, I'm gonna be looking out on the other side. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people out there, especially occultists and people who are so-called spiritual, who are telling people, don't speak on certain topics, don't do this, don't do that. Obviously, I would agree, don't overwhelm yourself or get too involved or too attached to things that don't serve you. But some people do need to hear your voice. Some people do need to hear your voice. Some people need to hear your mind, right? And I feel like that's a way of like shunning people and shutting people up, especially when so much people in the spiritual community have made their money already and have their fan bases up, and they're telling other people, just don't pay attention to this, don't speak on it, just go within. Yeah, I get it, but hey, they can, you don't know what words they can say that can help people too. Imagine if I would have never said what I was saying in that video, and that guy 2 weeks before his transitioning, come on, that probably did something for him. That might have been words he needed to hear to help him to cross over where he needed to go. Them last quick words to give him that, and for him to tell me he was ready. It was inspiration. So, don't allow, it's a lot of judgment, it's a lot of judgment. That's why I say stop listening to a lot of people. A lot of people have made careers and made a lot of money off of speaking off of what they call distractions, that they're now telling people, don't pay attention to that. You're not conscious because you keep talking about that. Like, I agree. Like I said, don't overdo it, but it's nothing wrong with giving your opinion and helping people, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let people fool you. You got to see through the narcissism, the manipulation and the deception. You got to see through that, because there's a lot of people who are they just want to, it's an ego thing with them, spiritual egos, all that. But back to the basis of what I'm talking about is just learn from people. Not everybody's meant to be around a long time, and you never know when you're going to see them again. You never know how they're looking out for you in other ways, and you never know how you may be crossing their mind wherever